All right, Bill, you got the Menendez brothers.
The Menendez brothers, man. Wow. A few hours ago, the new L.A. District Attorney Nathan Hochman held a press conference to essentially say, look, I'm cool with the resentencing hearing that is set for March 20th and 21st, but I'm asking the court to remove the petition seeking one from the DA's stationery. So when the petition for this resentencing was done, it was when the DA was this guy, George Gascon. He was terrible. He's the one who called for the resentencing, and it was really a Hail Mary because he was losing by 25 points in the latest polls to Nathan Hochman, who ultimately won. Here's Hochman today addressing the press conference on the hearing.
But for now, while the Menendez brothers persist in telling these lies for the last over 30 years about their self-defense defense, and persist in insisting that they did not suborn any perjury or attempt to suborn perjury, then they do not meet the standards for resentencing. They do not meet the standards for rehabilitation. They have not exhibited the full insights and accepted complete responsibility for their actions. And as a result, just like in the Sirhan case, they pose an unreasonable risk of danger to the community, and the resentencing should not, therefore, be granted.
Okay, the Sirhan case. Listen to this. In determining the resentencing, first you ask, do the Menendez brothers pose a risk to the community on the outside? Well, the first answer to that is, have they owned their misdeeds, owned responsibility for their actions, some 35 years ago? Have they demonstrated full insight into their crime? They claimed in the trial 35 years ago that they killed their parents out of self-defense after lying that it wasn't them at all. Then they said, okay, it was us, but it was self-defense. And after they said it wasn't them, they said, whoever did this, we're going to hunt them down. We're going to find the cartel. It's the mob. It's his business acquaintances. They lied like crazy, understandably. I mean, who's not going to try and lie? But they never said it was sexual abuse. In fact, when they were asked 35 years ago, was it sexual abuse? They said, no, they killed Kitty and Jose, their parents, because we were afraid. If that has changed now, as has been alleged, what Nathan Hochman, the new DA, is saying is they need to adequately account for the change. Okay, why did you say it then? What have you learned now? Own it. I still think a lot of people think that they should get out, all of TikTok, but a lot of people think that they should. I'm one of them. I don't think that they're a danger in the streets. The Menendez brothers. By the way, Eric has made like $3.5 million on Bitcoin. He's mining in there. I've seen their room. They each sleep in separate rooms, but they have 5 roommates. They're not together, but they're down the hall, and it's like they got laptops and Dodger flags on the walls, and it's very low-level security, and they've done a lot of good things in there. But back to the Sirhan. The boys are being compared to Sirhan, who shot RFK 54 years ago, and 5 other people, and he was recommended to the parole board 15 times and rejected. And then on the 16th time, the parole board recommended, okay, he's good to go. Gavin Newsom turned it down because of that last thing. Had he demonstrated full ownership of his actions? No. And he had what the Menendez brothers had, great reports from the guards. Sirhan had Kennedy family members forgiving him. The Menendez boys have over 20 family members who want them out. They had, good works on the inside, self-help meditation classes. The Menendez boys are painting murals as part of the green space efforts to beautify the place. They've improved the quality of life for inmates who are wheelchair bound. I mean, they're like model citizens, these guys. But what Nathan Hochman is saying, and while I support them coming out, is like, look, have the resentencing hearing, but I don't think that they've demonstrated that they're taking full ownership of what happened when it happened. I want all of that out there if it were me. And then they go. And I think, he has a pretty good point.
Well, Bill, I watched the entire press conference, and he mentioned there were 20 lies that the Menendez brothers did. They've only counted for 4 of them. They have
16 more lies
more to go.
16 more lies to clear up.
Yes.
This guy's really smart, Nathan Hochman. He does his homework. He's not just getting up there winging this thing. He was so concise. He did a 50-minute press conference and laid out everything. So you can't look at him and be like, this guy doesn't know already, or you can't.
No,
he has done the work.
He's incredibly impressive. Now, I don't know if he had a teleprompter or what, but he was absolutely on. He had it all down.
But I will say this. He did not say there is no pathway.
He gave them a pathway.
You have a pathway.
That's right.
Get clean on these 16 things. If I'm Mark Garagos, his lawyer and that legal team, get with the boys and say, I'm reading between the lines here. Lay it all out. And I think the public would appreciate that. Just get totally and completely honest and then let people decide if 34 years, AKA time served, is enough to resentence them with that. Then they get out, they're on parole, and they have, they're watched heavily. And of course they go to E and have a reality show and all that, which would make me vomit. But unless I sign them.
Maybe.
I might sign them.
We'll get him on the show.
Oh, yeah.
That's next.
Isn't that interesting? It feels gross, but if they came and said, Billy Bush, can you produce a show for me? I'd be like, ah.
Absolutely.